Reddit Revenge. A thread title. Reddit. What is the most messed up way you got back at someone that wronged you? Throwaways encouraged. Obviously, I'm going to use one. Back in high school, I dated a girl for 6 months before she decided it wasn't working out anymore, and she cheated on me with about 6 guys and stole my iPhone and wallet to buy drugs. I wanted to report her to the police like my parents encouraged me to, and to prevent me from doing such, her brother jumped me while I was walking home with his friends, and busted open my lip pretty badly, and threatened to kill me if I reported him or his sister. This is South Florida, so I believed he would do it. My dad got a new job, and we moved to a new city, but I was still pissed about the whole situation. So, I did the next best thing. I created 2 fake Facebook accounts of a random hot girl and a random hot guy, spent some time making it look legit with friends and such, and added her brother on Facebook with the girl and my ex with the guy. It wasn't too long before he started flirting me up and tried to get his best into these girls' pants. On the other hand, having already courted my now ex, I knew exactly what to say to her charm her to the point that she was in love with me. This is where it begins to get fun. I started a sexting relationship between the brother and sister with me as the intermediate thanks to Google Voice. Both of them had fairly typical South Florida bodies, so nothing really gave anything away. I did a fair amount of photoshopping to remove identifiers in the room that may have given anything away. This went on for about a month and a half, totaling about 200 or so nudes between the two of them, when I decided to reveal the curtain and send a group of unedited pictures that included key identifiers, such as face and rooms. Oh my gosh, it went down. I only wish I had some way to see how they reacted. Friends who still lived there told me her brother moved in with his dad that week and that they no longer spoke. All in all, about 4 months till I got my revenge, but it was amazing. A friend and I were fishing at a local creek when my friend's brother pulled up. Being the douchebag that he normally was, he started throwing rocks in the creek to scare the fish, and then he threw my friend's bike in the creek. We were 13 at the time, my friend was crying, and I felt so bad. I jumped into the creek and got his bike out, and told him that we would get his brother back. About a month later we were fishing again, in the dead of summer. I told my friend that today is the day we were going to get his brother back. We caught a 2/3 pound carp, threw it up on the side of the bank, and left it there till we were done fishing. At the end of the night, we went back to his brother's car that was sitting in the street. We took the carp, sliced it open, and threw it under the driver's seat and rolled his windows 3/4 up. The next morning when we woke and left, I forgot what we had done. Well, when I rode past JT's car, I noticed the window was kind of black, and then I took a closer look. It was covered in flies. I actually got scared because I did not expect the window caked in flies. By the time I got home, I was laughing in tears because his brother was always such a douchebag to us. Fast forward to baseball practice about 3 days later, my friend had a black eye, but he smiled at me when we made eye contact. His brother flipped out when he found out and ran into the house and punched him in the face. His mom flipped out on his brother and grounded him for the rest of the summer. His mom said that my friend would never do such a thing, and he played along and acted as if he had no idea. Apparently the smell never really left the car. We nicknamed his brother Lord of the Flies. A school bully repeatedly knocked a binder from my best friend's hands every single day while we walked down the hall. Now, we were in high school back in the pre-Columbine era, so people didn't freak out as often when kids messed up stuff. I convinced my friend to stick Tic Tacs through an entire side of his binder, turning it into an extremely dangerous spiked weapon, and just hold on extra tight while waiting for the bully to come do his thing. The kid lacerated his hand pretty badly. After he slammed his hand down onto it, my friend held on and even yanked back. He didn't try that again. I'm immune to poison ivy, so I was always uprooting it in our yard, about a full acre. I left it on this concrete area behind our garage, because that's where it was near when I pulled it out. Hey, I was lazy. Anyway, I frequently walked down to a fishing pond across this canal in my neighborhood. This is South Louisiana. I didn't always have a functioning bike, and the walk was about a mile. A big kid, probably 2 to 3 years older than me, was a real jerk. He'd do stuff like ride by me on his bike and act like he was going to high-five me, but then slap my face and ride off, laughing. Anyway, one day he did that, and I went home, upset. I got my water gun and was going to shoot him if he messed with me again. Then, I saw the poison ivy and got an evil idea. In the bucket, it went with some water, stirred it up all good, then dumped that in my water gun. I went back to the pond. On the way back home, he came around messing with me again. I hosed him down, and he broke my gun, but man, was it worth it. From what I hear, he didn't go back to school for almost 2 weeks. This wasn't me, but it was my younger brother. When my younger brother was about 3, my father had to look after him for the day. The plan was that he, after asking his boss, would take him into work for the day. It was office work, and he was friendly with his boss, so my mom assumed it was no big deal. My father, however, didn't want a toddler distracting him all day, so he left him in the car with the radio on and a carton of apple juice. This is Britain, so it wouldn't overheat, but either way, he was being a butthole. At the end of the day, he returned back to his car to drive home, expecting a sleeping toddler who couldn't tell his mother a thing. Instead, upon returning, he found his son jumping up and down in the front seats to the radio on full blast, naked and laughing, slipping everywhere, covered in his own feces. He had soiled himself, removed his nappy fecal matter diaper, and put it everywhere. It was smeared all over the driver's seat, the windscreen, the steering wheel, the sat-nav, the driver's window, even hand-printed on the ceiling. Our dad didn't even know that toddlers could even produce this vast amount of turd. The only car seat that was completely untouched was the toddler's own. Too long didn't read. My 3-year-old brother was abandoned in a car for 8 hours. He was later found smearing his own brand revenge paint all over my father's beloved BMW. One time, when I worked in a small video store as an assistant manager, there was this one customer who was being a real butthole to the point where I got fed up with his crap and threw him out. He had been a butthole to every single other employee in the store, including our boss. He was just a mouthy, harassing jerk. It would take way too long to go into the details. Anyway, I saw him in a little strip mall nearby one time, and he was bragging to some guys about how he was cheating on his workers' compensation. Then he pulls out his wad of cash and waves it under their noses like a Japanese fan. I got all this free money from lying about on my injured hand. What a butthole. Anyway, if you go into the blue pages of the phone book, you'll find this listing in all cap letters saying, Workers' Compensation Fraud Hotline. And take a wild guess what video store keeps it in their records? Full name, home address, and phone number. Ours. Not only did I turn this guy in, but was also able to provide great detail as to exactly how he was faking his injury as he explained it to his 2 friends. I moved around a lot as a kid. My dad was in the army, my parents were divorced. Not staying in one place made long-ship friendships impossible, but my situation attracted bullies like flies. I moved to a new school. A bully picked up my scent instantly, tripping and shoving, making fun of my clothes. Nothing too terrible, but I was already unhappy, so I felt miserable anyway. One school day, I asked to use the restroom. I passed by said bully on the way into the bathroom. He actually didn't do anything to me this time. When I entered the restroom, somebody was in the only stall, crapping on the floor. I walked out of the bathroom, disgusted, ready to tell on them, because I was only 7 at the time. I was ready to re-enter my classroom when an incredible, yet devious idea came to me. I went straight to my boys' classroom and walked inside. Everyone looked at me, which normally would have given me enough hesitation to turn me 180 back to class. But that day, I didn't so much as pause. I walked up to the teacher's desk, pointed at my tormentor, and boldly proclaimed that he had crapped all over the bathroom floor. The teacher's reaction was better than I could have ever expected, for me. She made him follow her to the restroom while he cried and slobbered out, "I didn't do it, he's lying," over and over again. She then grabbed a wad of paper towel, handed it to him, and we watched as he picked it up and put it in the commode. She thanked me for telling her and told me to go back to my classroom.